What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today's a little bit different. We have David here on the channel, and we're gonna do a little reactions. I actually stumbled across something on SweetWater's website the other night when I was looking up some video products, and in case you don't know, SweetWater started selling video gear, mostly Blackmagic, and they've actually built some bundles that they have on the website. So I had some opinions about these bundles, and I thought we should talk about them and if they're even any good. So I figured we'll get David on. He hasn't really seen these bundles, so I'm gonna bring them up and we're gonna talk about the bundle and whether we think it's actually a good option or if you should even get this gear. First off, if you're on their website, it's under studio and recording, video equipment, and then video mixers is where you find these bundles. So it's kind of took me a minute to actually find them when I went looking for them. But here's the first bundle, and we'll pop it up on the screen. So we have a Blackmagic Design podcast bundle for 4 people.
Okay.
4 cameras, 4 lenses, 4 microphones, and a switcher for $24,266. And then down here, the switcher is the 4K 8, but not the ISO model.
That's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say. In terms of ISO, if you're recording a podcast, you should be able to cut all that in post. You know what I mean? Like, are you looking up the price of the ISO?
Well, yeah, so that is just the normal model. Ooh, do they not make a 4K ISO model? Hold on.
Okay, so while he's looking that up, the ISO model basically spits you out a DaVinci timeline after you make your cut. So you can cut your podcast or show or whatever, and it'll spit out a multicam sequence for you to edit and post, which is really convenient.
The 4K model doesn't have an ISO option, only the HD model.
Interesting.
It's probably processing. They probably can't record 8 channels of 4K at once. It's probably a processing thing. So, yeah, that actually makes this bundle even worse than I had thought, honestly.
Yeah.
So here's my main thing. The microphones, the SM7B is great for podcasting. Sound really good. The switcher is honestly a great switcher. Just the lack of ISO record is a bummer. My biggest beef is honestly these cameras. These cameras are good-looking cameras, but without autofocus,
Yeah.
like, that's kind of a bummer.
Think about you're recording a podcast and you have 4 cameras. Let's say you have even 2 people as your talent. Let's say 3 people. You have all these 4 cameras. If they're moving around, if they're doing all this stuff, and you want like a good depth of field and you want a nice talking head or something, you're gonna be out of focus if you're just kind of doing a one-man show. So it's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, and I guess what's kind of interesting is like this package is like assuming you're not a one-man show because you have a switcher, which is, you know what I mean? Like someone would be shooting this, but then theoretically, to what David's saying, you would also need like a camera op. Like, the lenses are fine. I just feel like it's a really expensive bundle for a podcast.
It's $24,000. You could buy a car for $24,000.
All right, let's build our package on B&H and actually see like what it would cost in the car. So SM7B, great. We'll start with that microphone because it's the best podcasting microphone. You can go cheaper, but killer microphone. I think I would choose, if we're going for like just a good looking budget podcast setup, a Sony, the FX30. Yeah. Because you don't need the full frame, but it has killer autofocus.
Man, and it looks so good. The color science on that too. I think there's
look, you could even do this. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
You can do that lens at 2.8. So like,
wow,
for that. So we're gonna add that kit to the thing.
Yeah. Obviously, no SDI out on these, no tally. So that's super important to you.
And then the other thing, to like David's point of the ISO, like audio wise, it's not, you're not recording that. Like you would have to plug those mics into the switcher or to the camera, and you can't do any post on the microphones.
You'd have to mix it live, and if you mess up,
yeah,
then
so I would go with the Rodecaster 2 and plug your microphones into there because great processing, but then it also lets you multi-track, so then you can do that. So then let's remove my other stuff out of my cart. Building racks over here. Okay, so we need 4 of these. That's gonna make it go up. We need 4 of these. Okay, so just with the Rodecaster, 4 cameras with lenses, and 4 microphones, we're at $12,256. Now, the other kicker with this is there's no tripods, no cabling with this.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only cable they include, and it's kind of hilarious that they
is the IC,
is their 16 gauge,
which was really funny. So no XLRs, no SDIs, no tripods, no mic stands. So we're this. So if we built it out with like, you know, we're assuming we're not manning the camera, so we can get a cheap Manfrotto tripod here, little video tripod, like these ones, $330. That's what I normally do. And then if we did desk mic arm,
you could probably even throw in a couple cards too.
Yeah,
like the bundle doesn't include SSDs, it doesn't include in-body cards, nothing like that.
Okay, so we'll throw these in there, and that's kind of to what we've been talking about. I don't think I would want the switch to be done, like the podcast to be done, unless you had to do a live podcast, like done live. Because all I would do is I'd record in body. You have that autofocus, you're recording on the Rodecaster, then you throw it all into Premiere or whatever and use the AutoPod plugin and chop. It basically just looks at who's talking and chops it up.
Yeah.
And you can take an hour podcast and have it chopped in 2 minutes, but then you can go through and nudge everything however you want to, and you're not relying on someone sitting there pushing the button, so that would require another person. This setup that we're talking about here and recording in camera and on the podcaster or the Rodecaster would allow David and I to set it up, hit record, and not have to worry about another person.
Right. And even if you wanted to still have the capability to stream or to spit out an ISO record in DaVinci, like we were talking about with what SweetWater has, actually they don't even have an ISO model.
Yeah.
You could throw in an A10 Mini Pro ISO and it's what, $500?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're still $10,000 under what SweetWater has, and we have
an A10 Mini ISO, XLRs, HDMIs, desk stands, tripods, the memory cards. I mean, this is basically a full kit that you can send someone.
Yeah. We could
add lighting into this budget. If 24 grand is our budget,
yeah,
per se. Like, that's the other thing. Like, the SweetWater thing, it doesn't do all the things that we've talked about,
right,
but it also doesn't include lighting in this, which you have to have lights. I mean, you can get the newer CB60, which these lights that we're using right here are 60 watt lights, and we're running these at 10 and 20% brightness, so we don't need a super bright thing. So you do that, you add a softbox, you add a stand.
Yep.
You know, you could do, okay, we're talking 4 people, so we need at least, 3 of these bad boys, because oh, nice, it comes with that. 3. Okay, we're at 15,000, or basically 16,000.
Yep.
So we're still significantly cheaper than SweetWater, and we added lighting to this kit.
Yep.
Which is, so I understand what SweetWater's trying to do, but I do not think that is a good podcasting setup, especially for the money. I
think for $25,000, if say that was your budget and you're like, okay, we're going all out for $25,000 and that's just what we want in cameras. We have the lighting, we have all the other stuff, we have the infrastructure. If you're trying to spend $25,000 or have a budget of $25,000 on cameras and switcher / live stream, you could definitely get a way better product, way better image and quality with something other than the 6K studio cameras for Blackmagic. Yeah, you could definitely upgrade these FX30s to like
FX3s
Yeah.
and like have a way better, like, so if we want to go full on here and we do, yeah, let's just try this, you know, whatever, it's a 2.8 lens, you want a little bit of variety, so let's throw in the more expensive version here and we'll remove the FX30s just to give it a comparison. And okay, so FX3s with a 24 to 50 G Master lens, we're at 27,000.
Yeah.
So a little bit more, but I do think the FX3s ultimately will look better than those Studio 6K will. So here's the last thing I guess that I'll say about this kit is if I'm doing a podcast and say it's even 4 people and it's like the traditional, like 2 on one side of a desk, 2 on another side of a desk, and it's a bigger desk, I wouldn't even run 4 cameras. I'd run 3 because I would do a group shot, a group shot, and then the wide down the table of all 4. So I would realistically only do 3 cameras for a podcast like that, which would then, if we wanted to do that, and we're talking like what I would actually do, now, okay, doing the FX3s, the more expensive cameras were actually under budget with lighting and cabling and all this stuff. And if we went back to FX30s, we'd be even cheaper. Okay, so if we went back to our 3 cameras, FX30s, we're at 13,000, so we are 10,000 cheaper with lighting and everything. So, anyways, I don't think that that is a great bundle. Like, I just would not buy that. I wouldn't recommend someone to go buy this bundle.
No.
But if you're interested in this bundle, I'll leave an Amazon link down below. And the whole bundle that we talked about that you could snag off of B&H or Amazon, you can look at down below. All the lights, cameras, every piece that you would need to build a 4-person podcast studio. You can get that link down in the description.
Awesome.
Sweet. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. If you disagree with us, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the next video.